Hi everyone, welcome to UX Fast Track. My name is Jamie and I help product designers and product owners create digital products from scratch that get high reviews and earn money. And today we're diving into product design for beginners, and I'm going to give you a step-by-step action plan that I've implemented for years that has seen great results. Before we get started, let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Jamie. I've been in design in one way or another for over 20 years. I've worn many hats, from visual design to graphic design to marketing. More recently, in the past 10 years, I've been focusing on UX design, otherwise known as product design, and I have a master's degree in this field, and I really enjoy sharing what I know to help people out. So let's just jump right in and see if I can share the basics of how to design any digital products from scratch. Basically, I see it as 6 key steps. Step 1, you got to find a problem that is severe enough that people want to do something about it. Step 2, you want to see how saturated the market is, filled with existing products that are already solutions to that problem. Step 3 is you want to research the people with that problem. And step 4, you want to make a first draft of your solution to that problem. And step 5, you want to let your customers try out an early version to give you feedback before you go all the way and produce it or launch it. And then step 6, you want to get the thing out into the marketplace. So let's dive in a little deeper into each one of these. For step 1, you have to find a problem, right? People only care about having their own problem solved for the most part. Now, if you want to find a really great problem that has a tremendous market opportunity, finding the hidden problems are a real gem. What do I mean by that? In 1903, Mary Anderson invented the windshield wiper. How did this come about? Well, she was in a taxi cab ride from one side of a major city to another, and it was a major, really bad snowstorm, and she kept noticing the taxi cab driver rolling down his window, putting his whole left arm out, wiping the snow away, and then rolling his window up. She realized that, wow, there's got to be a better way to do this. But here's why this is a magical kind of hidden problem. I would bet you that if you were to interview that taxi cab driver, if you were to ask him, what was frustrating about transporting your passengers today? I bet you he would just say, nothing. It was just another day in the office, another day driving a cab. So a lot of times people just get used to their small problems, and it's not easy to find them. You have to observe the problems like Mary Anderson did, in addition to just asking people what their problems are. What you're looking for are everyday frustrations that you or others experience. Sometimes people say scratch your own itch. If you have something that you're frustrated about, this is an opportunity for you to make a product to solve your problem, because there might be a good chance that hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of people have the same problem you have. Step 2, you have to understand how saturated the market is with existing solutions from other companies that are trying to solve the same problem you are out to solve. The fancy term for this is called competitive analysis. Now, sometimes whatever the problem is you're trying to solve, there's very few competitors out there building and selling a solution. That is perfect. But sometimes there are actually tons of solutions out there trying to solve the problem you are, but these companies and products are just really bad at it. Let me give you an example. Taxis. 15 years ago, you were on a business trip. You were in the middle of New York. You hailed a cab. Well, there's a lot of experience problems with taxi cabs of the day. For example, often they could be rude. Maybe they took the long route to run up your meter. You weren't really sure how to tip them. There was no way to give them a review. You didn't really have a way to pre-order the taxi. So Uber came along and made this a far better experience. They did it for cheaper. And as a win-win, they enabled people who had their personal cars in their driveway become drivers themselves and make a little money on the side. This is a great example of how something that already had hundreds of companies solving the problem of people needing transportation, but they were doing it in a very bad way. And this is something that competitive analysis can surface for you and become an opportunity for you to make something and succeed at it. Okay, let's say so far you've completed step 1. You found a problem to solve that people are willing to pay for to make go away. Step 2, you did a competitive analysis and you realized the barrier of entry was relatively low. Step 3 is you need to research the people with the problem. This involves talking to potential users. You've got to use tools in the industry like user interviews and surveys. And also, as I mentioned before, observe how they're trying to navigate their issues today. You want to ask questions like, what are your bigger challenges? What solutions you've already tried? Let me use an example to make this more clear as a budgeting app. Let's just say you understand there's a wicked problem out there of people having major difficulty saving money for their future selves. By using observation, interviews, and surveys, you understood the people with this problem much more deeply, and you understood that, wow, there's actually a lot of little problems that ladder up to the bigger problem of people not being able to save money. For example, from your research, you understood that people can't really see the money going in and out. They can swipe their card at the grocery store, but then they got to go home and look at their bank account and see how that's affecting what they have in there, etc. And they can't easily categorize what's being spent on. Let's use Costco, for example. You go to Costco and you spend $700 at Costco. Well, it's not just Costco. Some things from Costco were food. Some things were electronics. Some things were home cleaning products. Some things were automotive. It's really difficult to categorize all those things into a way that you can identify categories to cut back on. Maybe they're not essential to you. Your research revealed that people trying to budget money also don't really know what is safe to spend because rent's going to hit on the first, credit card bills are going to hit automatically, etc. And those come in on a timing basis, so you have to be very careful to make sure there's money in your account so when those do hit, you don't get an NSF fee or a late credit card payment. Now, all these smaller problems I just mentioned ladder up to the bigger problem of people not being able to save money, and that is the thing that your digital product must address using an interface if you're going to solve this particular problem example. So to summarize step 3, researching people with the problem, you have to find the small little problems that ladder up to the big problem because solving those little problems are going to become the features of your digital product. And that brings us to step 4. Make a first draft solution. Now, when it comes to digital products, we call this a prototype. This is going to be a very basic early version of your app or your website that's going to solve the problem you set out to solve. Some tips here. Always start sketching first when you make a first draft of your solution. It's very important to sketch because in this way, the ideas come from your brain and they go immediately down to your hand and your pencil and your paper, and everything is much more free flow and there's very limited friction between your ideas and the designs you're creating. Then, and only then, after you find something you really like, I suggest at least 10 to 20 ideas because within all of those ideas, there's going to be 1 or 2 great solutions that you can use or maybe hybrid together. Only after this stage, then you jump into Figma. With Figma or another prototyping software, you can make a clickable solution that people can test drive and say, yes, that works for me, I like what I'm seeing, or no, you're really way off base. And regardless of what they say, you use that information to make your prototype even better. Always in this stage of making a first draft solution, think about the core problem you're trying to solve and don't try to make it perfect. For example, the budgeting app we discussed, you want to have features that are going to address the core points of frustration. 1, they can't see money going in and out. Well, maybe you make some sort of visual graph that shows you money coming in and out. 2, they can't easily categorize what's being spent on. Well, maybe you have to show in display in some way the categories people are spending money on. They don't know what's safe to spend. What if you have a bucket of money, let's just say in the interface, that some of your money is earmarked in a particular section, let's say $400, that says this money is actually safe to spend and you can spend $400 without worrying about any bills or checks bouncing. Okay, step 5, you want to let customers try out your early version, right? This is tantamount to someone test driving a prototype new car. And through this test drive, they're going to tell you It doesn't have enough doors. I need cup holders. I need more trunk space. I need more horsepower. I need more miles per gallon, right? These are the type of things you're going to get when you let people try out an earlier version. People are going to give you feedback when they try out your prototype on, is this even solving the problem at all? And you're going to see where they're frustrated or confused, which is huge. During this step, letting your customers try it out, you want to ask for honest feedback. You want to ask them what's working, what's confusing, and we do this in something called a usability test. So step 6, here's where you take all the feedback and you refine what you've made. Now at this point, you're going to have a good idea of what is really going to work for your customers or what's not going to work so much. Now you are much more prepared for success when you launch your product idea into the marketplace. And at this stage, and only at this stage, is when you put the final coat of paint on it and make it look exceptionally nice and exceptionally beautiful and market ready. But you don't want to do that too early. The last thing, which is not really product design but needs to be there, is marketing. Because if folks never find your solution, they never find your new app, they never find your website, it won't matter how well you built it. It won't matter how incredible it is at solving the problem because they never found it in the first place. So you have to make sure you put in the work to put a megaphone on your creation. Okay, to recap, let's go through the 6 steps of product design. 1, find a problem people have to solve. 2, work on finding something with a low barrier of entry through competitive analysis. 3, research the people with the problem using user research. 4, make a first draft of your solution using low fidelity prototypes and sketching and prototyping software. 5, let users try it out through a process called usability testing. 6, refine your solution using all your research to this point so far, then launch your product into the marketplace. If you follow this process, you will have a solid foundation to tackle any product design project, no matter how big or small. Thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, be sure to like this video and subscribe for more beginner-friendly product design tips. And if you're ready for a deeper dive, check out future classes I'll be making on this topic for more in-depth guidance, amazing templates, and tools you can use to become a confident product designer. And I'll see you in the next video.